All right, back when we hear you, let's get it. What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Real Deal Sports Show. I am the Fanatic coming to you live back. Last week a little bit choppy on the road, but excited to be with you all this morning. So good morning. Of course, I'm here doing the hosting, but it's all about the man with the master plan and all the great information, the one and only Rad Man. What's happening, Rad Man? How you feeling?
Oh my goodness, unbelievable weekend here. Man, things are just, you think every weekend you say sports is going to slow down, but it seems like sports just continue to pick up. Feeling good, almost back to school. Hey, I got my juices flowing. I was on the sideline last night of the McQuaid at Aquinas football game. Outstanding ball game last night. I mean, the game was outstanding last night. McQuaid and Aquinas looked like they were in preseason mode there in the third quarter. They got to the 12-yard line and then got backed up with about 4 or 5 penalties in a row. Man, the referees were throwing the flag around. Even during the TV timeout during the game, one of the referees asked me, he saw me on my phone. He said, hey, how's Serena doing? Is she winning? I said, oh, let me look it up. He said, no, she down one set, 5-7 right now, 7-5. She lost the first set. Looked like they get ready to go into the second set. Oh, she'll come back. She'll do it, man. She'll do it. She in New York. She going to win. I said, thank you, man. The guy, referee, everybody thinking about Serena, and we all got this show dedicated to Serena Williams today, one of the greatest GOATs of all time. In our lifetime, for sure, to see her grow up as a youngster with the beads in her hair and the beads in the hair. When they showed that film, I said, oh, wow, man, dude, that was almost like yesterday, man. It looked like she was just a teenager, her and her sister Venus back then. And remember, Venus was the top player at that time, and Serena was an unknown factor, saying, hey, she's probably going to be good. Let's see, is she going to be as good as Venus, is what people were saying back at the time. And lo and behold, look what happened. She just emerged as the greatest of all time, 23-time major winner champion. And she kept giving you glimpses. You can see that it wasn't the old Serena, obviously. She almost great turned 41 later this month. But she was hitting the ball. She gave us glimpses and reminded us that, man, she's tough to beat. You better go out there and beat her. You can't let her hang around, man. You're going to be in trouble, man.
Yeah.
Like she did a couple nights ago, man. After they got in that third set, she started with that backhand and got that backhand going. Watch out. Serena was on her game, won 2 matches. I didn't expect her to win 2. She won 2 matches in this year's U.S. Open, losing last night. But, hey, it was a great send-off. The fans, everybody was so appreciative. They're so appreciative of her now. That wasn't always the case. When she first started, there was a lot of hatred and disgust about the Williams sisters and how their dad was training them and the whole 9 yards. The movie went into it a little bit. It definitely doubt. And the movie went into parts that we didn't even know about. It took us behind the curtain on other issues, dealing with sponsors and the whole 9 yards and how they didn't really want to sponsor her like they were sponsoring the white women on the tour in that movie. Great movie to see as well. It takes you behind the curtain. But Serena Williams, congratulations. And many more. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of Serena Williams. I'm sure with her many businesses and camps and things of that nature. She's going to be around for many years to come. Coco Gauff and all these other players better get going. Sloane Stephens.
Oh, come on.
Ever since you got married, Sloane, what's going on with Sloane Stephens? Soon as she get married and got a regular man on a regular time period now, she can't hit a tennis ball worth a damn no more. Man, that was embarrassing to see her get blown out the way Sloane Stephens was blown out a couple of days ago. I'm a Sloane Stephens fan. I thought you would have been ahead of Coco Gauff. As a matter of fact, in my mind, I thought you would have been the next one to take the torch from Serena, but you look like you into married life a little too much, Sloane Stephens. So I hope you get it together. Coco Gauff, she's young. Her parents got her under control right now. She's doing her thing. Coco Gauff, keep up the good work. But Sloane Stephens, you got to get to work, Sloane. Got to get to work. That wasn't pretty, what we saw there at the U.S. Open a couple of nights ago. That wasn't pretty at all. I was very embarrassed for you, quite frankly, young lady. That girl took you to town, man. Had that hitting the ball all over the court. You trying to chase the ball down and all kinds of nonsense. Come on, Sloane. That's not your game. So hopefully Fanatic. You got some comment on that, man?
Yeah, hey, Rabbi, you sound like you somebody's father, man. You know you disappointed, man. You about to put her in timeout, man. But yeah, she definitely. Hey, so those are some real thoughts there, getting real. That's why we talk sports of all sorts. Coco Gauff, I really did think that she was gonna not necessarily be Serena, but be on the precipice. But she's not even getting close. Not even getting close. Sloane Stephens, she's not even getting close. Coco Gauff is definitely looking like the next. I'm not even gonna say heir apparent, because just like for Tiger Woods, they kept saying all these other different players are gonna take over for Tiger Woods. There's only one Tiger Woods. Only one Tiger Woods. I think there'll be only one Serena for a long, long time. And it was just nice. Me being here in New York currently, absolutely amazing. Seeing the love and adulation from the fans. And they were rooting for her from every point. They were all invested. But it did make me chuckle to myself, Rad, man. Oh, yeah, man. Now back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They're all on me. Now Serena at the beginning, like they showed in the movie King Richard, they weren't a fan of Richard Williams and the family and how they were doing it. And now they didn't play out there in California in particular events, the Wells Fargo Indian Open. They didn't play in that event for the longest time because of how they were treated at the beginning. So let's not forget that. But it was a great send off. I love seeing that Serena twirl one more time. I couldn't get enough last night. I had to hold back a little bit of tears because she was part of the reason why I played tennis. A shout out to the Love 15 and the YMCA of Rochester. Love seeing Serena with the power, the fierceness, the grace. And she got to be, at a certain point, it seemed like finally she was one of the first athletes that I can remember in my lifetime. She could be authentically Black with the outfits that she wore, with the aggression, with the power, and really white America didn't really come at her neck eventually once we got to a point. So I love seeing that. Great to see the Serena twirl, and glad that she got to see her flowers. And she got to go out how she wanted to go out at that fine tournament where she made her name at the U.S. Open, like you said, coming in with the bees, then ending up as a straight up grown woman, now mom of one, looking to be mom of 2 or 3. So Serena, always in our hearts. We dedicate you and the show for you today, Serena. No doubt about it. It is where it just was an amazing journey. It was even fun seeing her in Venus, even though they got whooped in doubles.
Yeah,
that wasn't even close, but it was a good fun thing to see. So shout out to Serena and the whole Williams family.
And you could tell they were playing for fun in that doubles match. It wasn't as serious as the singles match. And one last point on Sloane Stephens. Maybe you need to call Mr. Richard Williams. I don't know what he's doing, but maybe he could talk with you and just be a motivational speaker per se. Maybe he can't, maybe not ability to train anymore, but maybe a motivational speaker. I think Mr. Williams could get Sloane Stephens fired up, because Serena Williams, he got her fired up, and she just hated to lose. That was the biggest thing about her. She did not take losing gracefully. She wanted to win at all times, no matter what the match was. And it was great to see her come out and do her thing, and also announce ahead of time so people knew this was going to be her most likely her final tournament, major tournament to see her in, and that's great to her for that. But also, let's get back. We got a lot of NFL. We got football, high school football is going on. Like I said, that McQuaid Aquinas game was outstanding last night. Good game. Get out and see these youngsters playing. Football starts early each year now. It starts before Labor Day. So it was a good time. Get out to any high school game you can. See some of these kids play. There's a lot of good games going on. Pittsburgh Russian Redder was an outstanding game too. Saw the highlights of that one. A lot of good games today. Wilson High School played downtown at the stadium there. At the I don't know what the new name is down there at the stadium, but check it out as well. And NFL football, there's a lot going on with the Buffalo Bills coming up on Thursday night. Not Saturday, not Sunday, not Monday, but this coming Thursday, September 8th. The Bills will be out where we were last time. Myself and the Mighty Over out at SoFi Stadium. The last game I was at live was at SoFi, and now here we are. Now the Bills can make their trip to SoFi Stadium. Should be very interesting. And I'm going to go to an interview that me and Jgillz, and Jgillz is going to be joining us shortly. Jgillz had with Roger Saffold, the new guard. And this guy is big. He's mean. He's nasty. I really like this guy, Roger Saffold. And we're going to go. This interview is brought to you by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Call her, 585. If you're outside the area code, call 585-360-0094. Give Miriam a call. She'll answer that phone and speak to you directly and help you save some money, because she sure helped me and my family save some money on auto home insurance for sure. And she can do the same thing for you. So give Miriam Rivera a call, 360-0094. And now let's go to the interview with Roger Saffold.
I know you're coming in late into camp this season, but how is that for even with a veteran guy like yourself coming in late and just playing catch up per se?
At the beginning, I was thinking that it was a struggle. But after kind of being able to get my feet back under me, understanding like getting better and get back with this team, with adversity, you seem to get guys a little bit closer, and we were able to get guys to get some quality reps under Aaron Cromer, which a lot of them haven't done that technique before. And then for me to be able to kind of gel with these guys that kind of put the urgency behind me to be able to get into the rhythm with this offense. So it all ended up working out really well. I mean, some tough days, of course, but they haven't done anything but make us stronger. We've been moving well as a unit, and I think this was great because I think that our players really need to see how this offense works on the field and to see the potential of what it can be. Now that you see what it can be, because they didn't play their starters, but at the end of the day, that's a mentality that you got to still go out and play and do the job, because you could easily say that and then have a piss poor performance because you think that they're less than. So seeing what we did out there, it was huge. It was great to see, and it just shows you that there's no limit to what we can do.
You played in this offense before?
There's some nuances here and there that are the same, and there are some things that are different. But I've been playing in a lot of different offense over the years, and I'm just loving the way that everything's gelling and how everybody's very cooperative with one another to figure out the best way to get us to move ball down the field and to score touchdowns.
And last question for me: after 13 years, what keeps you motivated to coming back and playing?
It was a promise I gave myself when I was 10 years old, when I said I was going to play 15 years. And then also, just continuing to chase that ring. I mean, the last time I was in the Super Bowl was with Coach Cromer. So I just want to duplicate that and bring it back.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There you have it. Roger Saffold. And man, the guy he's a mountain of a man. This guy is serious, man. He look like he don't play, man. He don't play, man. He gives you right. And his interview was like that. He gets right to the point. 13-year veteran, guard, pulling guard. I think him next to Deion Dawkins, that's going to make Deion Dawkins even better than he was the last few years with the Bills. I think they're going to have a good, and when the Bills run the ball, I think they're going to be running to the Deion Dawkins and Roger Saffold side of the field. And as he mentioned in the interview, he'd been worked under Adam Cromer's offensive, who is the new Bills offensive line coach. His techniques and everything, he's very familiar with his techniques. And hey, he went all the way to the Super Bowl with that line coach. And now I want to bring into us Jgillz is coming in, who was with me on that interview, coming in to speak today. And keep in mind, Jgillz appearance is brought to you by Rock Pawnbroker, 559 State Street. Get over there and see Sammy and the crew over there at Rock Pawnbrokers, 559 State Street, 585-262-9920 for people outside the area, 585-262-9920. Stop on by to Rock Pawnbrokers, 559 State Street. Check out Sammy and the crew for the latest items that he has, jewelry, the whole 9 yards. We know it's back to school, but back to school will be over soon. We're getting to, you want to style and profile as you go into these Bills games in different places throughout the fall and winter season coming up. It's Rock Pawnbrokers. Jgillz, how you doing? Good morning to you. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show.
Hey, good morning, fellas. We are finally back. Football is back. NFL, college, it's going down, y'all. Good morning, Rochester. How y'all doing this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful.
What up, Jay? What's happening? Good morning.
Good morning. I know you got your LSU Tigers got a big game tomorrow. How you feeling about that?
Hey, man, I'm looking to get on the way to New Orleans. These flights been a little crazy. So, yeah, I love when they give us the neutral site game against FSU. But, yeah, we playing right down at our home away from home where we won the chip with Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the crew. So it's gonna be fun down there in New Orleans. It's always a party in New Orleans. We're gonna really turn up this Labor Day weekend for the LSU Tigers. So, and it's only fair because FSU already got a game under their belt. So that's gonna be fun to see on Sunday, the first game of the Brian Kelly era. Let's see.
It's gonna kick off real good.
Yes, indeed. It's got a lot of action going on this weekend. Your Dolphins, Bills coming up. What do you see, first of all, for your Dolphins on we're going to instead of Dolphins, we're going to talk about them next week because next weekend we'll talk about all the games before we get into the winner's edge next week. But what do you see for the Bills-Rams game coming up, Jgillz?
The Bills-Rams games, well, one thing that we were real looking at was the Bills running back room. You know what I mean? And when we see the cuts that were being made, we see what type of backs that the Bills are going to be carrying. I know you just came off of that Roger Stafford interview. that offensive line is going to be looking to play real elite, and it's going to be the biggest challenge that they might have all season with Ndamukong Suh and those guys over there in Los Angeles. So really, it's really the trenches. It's a game of the trenches. Will the Bills offensive line be able to protect Josh Allen, and will they be able to do what new offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey wants them to do in running the ball? So I'm happy that we just had that Stafford interview. Clearly, we see that he's ready to go. He feels like they have the continuity in the team to do it, and we're going to see. That's the big physical of the game. And when we look at the Los Angeles Rams, and I look at that new offense as well, those new weapons. It's a secret weapon over there called Allen Robinson. He had some down years over in Chicago. You know what I mean? So we're going to really see how Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson's still coming back on a knee injury, that plethora of running backs over there that they have. I really want to see if the defending Super Bowl champions are going to do what they need to do to defend their crown.
Yeah, and they get their rings and everything, I believe, on all that ceremony and hoopla before the game. So that should be psyching them up. I'm concerned with Stafford with his elbow injections and everything. And he tends to start off slow anyway. He's not really always. I expect him to miss a few throws early in that game, but he did. He's very dangerous. He can get hot, get warmed up, and start hitting Allen Robinson, his new, and definitely Cooper Kupp. He definitely can hit Cooper. That's one of his veteran guys. I think I see that happening. Should be a good game on Sunday. I see the Bills now. Bills fans asking about Odell Beckham. Well, what about Odell Beckham? We don't need Odell Beckham. The Bills got all kinds of wide receivers. Just go with the guys you have. Now, if you get an injury or something happen, that's a whole different story. But with the lineup with Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, you have the tight ends in there as well. Jamison Crowder, also on a veteran wide receiver. I like Jamison Crowder. He's always been good with Washington and especially good with the Jets as well. I think Jamison Crowder will make some plays for the Bills. Isaiah McKenzie can make plays for the Bills. I think, hey, it's nice to talk of wishful thinking. It's nice that guys want to come to Buffalo now. That's a big change to see that guys are very interested. And the likes of Odell Beckham is even considering coming to Buffalo, which used to be known as Siberia back in the day. Back in the day with players not wanting to come here. So it's very interesting to see this happening. But I think right now you're loaded with what you got. Let the offense get itself together. Mitch Morris is the forward guy. He's the main guy at center. He's been doing this for several years. And each year, the last 2 seasons, I must say, he's getting better and better. He came in playing well, and I said, wow, this guy came in. Now he's even playing even better at the center position. The key is going to be Quisenberry over at the guard position and at the tackle position right now. Quisenberry, and we got our guys, number 71, Kyle, playing the other Ryan playing the other tackle guard position over there. I like how he finishes in Ryan Bates. Ryan Bates played an excellent position. He's a good guard. I think even though him and Deion Dawkins had a great second half of the season, I think him over there working with Quisenberry to start and possibly Spencer Brown later in the season, I think Ryan Bates is going to hold his own. The key is how long can Quisenberry hold up? He's coming back. He's been out a few years, had some serious health issues dealing with cancer. He beat cancer. Thank God he beat that. He's back in the league. He was good before he left, but now he's just getting himself back into, and you see glimpses of how he used to play and how he that's going to be key. So when you watch that game on Thursday night, watch Quisenberry, watch the right side of the line, Quisenberry at tackle, Ryan Bates at guard to see how they perform. Because I can guarantee you, Saffold and Deion Dawkins will be handling their business on the other side of the line.
Right, man. Yes. We talked a lot about the trenches. You know, that's going to be a huge deal this upcoming Thursday. But can you talk about the significance of this Bills secondary and how depleted it is looking right now? Jordan Poyer coming off an injury. Tre'Davious White put on the PUP list, will be missing the first 4 games. Khalil Elim has not been named a starter. How does this Bills secondary, which I picked to be a struggle earlier in this season at the end of training camp, they asked me who the struggle is going to be. I said, I'm not sold on this Bills secondary. And now we're starting to see right before the season starts that this Bills secondary piece by piece isn't what we thought it was going to be. Can you explain how significant of an impact that's going to be with Tre'Davious White being out and Jordan Poyer with that hyperextended elbow?
That's the part. If you need to get a veteran cornerback, that would have been the move instead of an Odell Beckham move. It's going to be interesting. I think Beresford might get the start over there over Elam. Beresford, I wouldn't be surprised to get him a start. But you're right. they could go. That's what the Rams will probably go after. They'll probably go after those guys on some short routes because the Bills are probably going to bring some pressure up the middle, stop the running game. I think Jaquan Jones and the guys in the middle will be able to stop the Ed Oliver. I think the Bills guys on the defensive front, from what we've been seeing, Shaq Lawson, defensive front is fine, but the secondary is a major concern. If you beat the Bills early in the season, you better jump on, go after the secondary. You're absolutely right. Stafford has to be on. I don't see Stafford being on, though. He's like a Jekyll and Hyde type quarterback, Matthew Stafford. He's not as accurate as some of these other guys. I think they get a break with the Rams first, and then you got Tannehill. Who knows what Tannehill going to do in week 2? I think the Bills secondary get a break by not going up against some of the better accurate quarterbacks in the league. So I think they can get by these first 2 games with being on the road in LA, and then the following week on Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans. I think the Bills secondary, they're going to have to put pressure. Poyer and Hyde is going to have to help out on that side, just like they did at the end of the season. They're not going to be able to do all the things they normally can do, but they're going to have to help that cornerback out over there. And is Serena Neal going to come in and help out? Teron Johnson playing the linebacker role, but a hybrid linebacker defensive back. Yes, Jgillz, that is a serious concern, and that's what's going to be happening Thursday. I think if the Bills do not perform well defensively, I think it'll be because of the younger guys in the secondary, maybe not able to be covering guys as fluently as they need to cover.
I like it. Oh, yeah. I'll just jump in here real quick. Hey, I've got 2 parts on this. One of my thoughts that I had was about Kaiir Elam. With him not starting, does that say anything negatively about him and being the first-round pick and not starting with Trey White being out? And then second piece is, fellas, is we heard about Dawson Knox's tragic loss of his brother. Does anybody have any update into where his headspace is at? How is he looking? Does he look distracted? Obviously, that's a huge loss. From what has been read, that I've read, it seemed like he was close to him. So that's a big loss. So talk to me about the Kaiir Elam first-round pick and him not starting. And then talk to me if we have any updates on Dawson Knox and where his head is as he goes into a potentially career year here.
Well, one thing I noticed in camp, now this is only from training camp, Elam likes to grab. He likes to use his hands a little too much, grab and hold type so far that I saw. He got to he can't get away with that at this level. They're going to be calling that. They're going to call that right away. So maybe that's what the coaching staff might be seeing, and they see him Benford might be a little bit more mature and a little bit more seasoned. Coming out of Villanova, which is interesting, coming out of Villanova, and the other guy coming out of the Southeastern Conference. You just never know the player's ability. That's why, it's your God-given ability. It's what you have from within that comes out. And Benford may end up getting that start on the opposite side of this game. But they could flood the field with receivers. Elam will be out there as well, and they just have to make plays. And hopefully the Bills pass can generate a pass rush. This is A.J. Espinoza, Greg Rousseau. We've been seeing the improvement with him, seeing the veteran tutelage he's been getting from Von Miller, the whole 9 yards. Bruce Smith is out there working with these guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how the maturation of Greg Rousseau, how has he grown in the last year or so? Because the Buffalo definitely going to need a pass rush, getting after Stafford and getting at them. I see Kevin Cheeks got the Bills winning 24-17. Kevin Cheeks seems like he's all excited. Like he must see something we haven't seen. But he see the Bills coming out there with the win.
I love it. Yeah, and I will say, from Kaiir Elam, we all know about him as LSU Tigers. Jamar Chase, he knows all about him. Even Terrence Marshall, Kaiir Elam, man, he's gonna hold, grab. They just gotta make sure they call it. He was known for that in the SEC. I know he's gonna be doing a whole lot of holding and grabbing. So hopefully the opposing coaches, I'm sure that they're talking to the refs as soon as the game will start. That Elam, look for him. He's gonna be holding and grabbing our receiver. So he's getting thrown straight to the wolves to go up against the Rams receiving core as they get ready. Because Jgillz, you're 100% right. Allen Robinson, he can play. He was hidden. You couldn't see it in Chicago with that mess of what was going on over there with Matt Nagy. But yeah, Allen Robinson can play. So yeah, Kaiir Elam is going to be a nice welcome to the NFL event on Thursday. So we'll see about that. But yeah, any thoughts on Dawson Knox?
I think he will be playing. We haven't, like you said, we haven't really heard much from Dawson Knox. Hopefully he'll be able to play because that's tough losing your brother like that. in a tragic situation there. Hopefully he'll be ready to play. Quentin Morris is playing very well, even though he hurt his hamstring in practice early in the week. Hopefully he'll be healed up enough to go next week. I think Quentin Morris and Sweeney, as you know, that O.J. Howard was let go. He picked up by, it looks like the Houston Texans are picking up O.J. Howard. They let him go. O.J. Howard's still getting paid from the Bills. So I know that was a very tough decision for the Bills to make because they gave him a signing bonus and everything, and he didn't beat anybody out. They kept Sweeney, which I was surprised. Quentin Morris, I think, showed up and really represented. He was a former wide receiver that turned tight end, and he's doing a very good job of it. So Quentin Morris is definitely coming on strong. Last but not least, before you go, Jgillz, what is the Dolphins, Bills, any around the league? Was there any shocking cuts made that you thought was surprising?
No surprising cuts. I mean, like you said, the O.J. Howard cut, I thought that was really surprising, but that also, so to answer the Fanatics question, there's such a lack of confidence in Dawson Knox, even after that tragic situation. But when I look at the league, I mean, I know the Dolphins did just get rid of Sony Michel, who signed on with the Los Angeles Chargers. But there aren't any major cuts right now that are shocking to me. There are a lot of great free agents, veteran free agents who are out there, with Joe Hayden being a possibility for the Bills, needing a veteran cornerback. You've got Ndamukong Suh available as a dominant defensive lineman who could still get to the quarterback. There are a couple pieces that are still available that, you know, we have to see. Season starts on Thursday, and as injuries happen, as things trickle down, we will have to see what's going on. But my prediction for this Thursday, I'm going to have to go Rams 27, Buffalo Bills 20. That secondary is really scaring me. And when I look at that preseason game, when I look at them, when they play the Denver Broncos, the undisciplinary of the secondary, I feel is really going to hurt the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, they had a lot of illegal contacts, a lot of holding penalties. So we're going to have to see how they can bounce back with this first 4 games. But as soon as Tre'Davious and the gang gets back, that's a wrap.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's supposed to be out a year, and the year is Thanksgiving, because he was injured on Thanksgiving night down in New Orleans. I was at that game, and that turf, that soft turf, I think helped contribute to that injury, because it was a non-contact thing. His foot got stuck in that turf, and it was a brand new soft, spongy type surface. And a year, he's really on time. He was, he would have been back early if he would have been coming back now, but he's really on schedule to come back probably around Thanksgiving time. I think we will see him probably the second half of the season. Jgillz, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much for coming on, and we're gonna catch you next week, and we're gonna talk more Dolphins as more game in the Sunday games for next week on next Saturday's show. So we appreciate you coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
Thank you, fellas. See you.
You the man, Jake.
Jgillz always with good commentary, and that was some good points he made about some of the injuries and some of the plays at Buffalo on the defensive secondary. Very good, astute points. And speaking of astute, we're going to go to a legendary journalist from USA Today. And before he comes on, his appearance is sponsored by Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper, picking up at most businesses in the community, Worldwide News, Village Gate, City Hall, County Office Building, and all stores in the community, including Calvin Magic Wings down there on Thurston Road, corner store at Magnolia and Genesee Street, Jamaican Soul Restaurant, and various businesses all throughout the quick fill out on Norton and Hudson Avenue, another stronghold location for Challenger Community News. Pick it up and see the Harriet Tubman Bicentennial Celebration kickoff. Also, my article on the Bills Rams and a taste of Inglewood. I tell you about some of the great restaurants and places to stop at if you're going out to that game in Inglewood, California, like Woody's. Woody's Barbecue is another. Hey, you can't miss Woody's when you're out there in Inglewood. That's our guest coming on now. Welcome to USA Today sports writer and recent winner of the Bill Nunn Award, Jarrett Bell. Good morning, Jarrett Bell. Jarrett, good morning.
Hey, George, what's happening, man?
Hey, it's football time. Here we go.
Yeah, that was a whole mouthful you had there a minute ago about the Challenger and even putting a plug in for Inglewood. I'm like, oh, yeah, he was in Inglewood at the Super Bowl last year and did a few things I know. So, man, and here we are starting another season.
Already. This seemed like we just left SoFi Stadium seemed like a couple months ago, but here it is almost 6 months ago, and the Buffalo Bills LA Rams kick off the season this coming week on Thursday night. What's your take on on. First of all, I got to ask you about the Bills punter. Let's get right into. Let's get right to that. How does the vetting process not catch something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy because we've heard it for so many years how detailed NFL security is, and then the individual teams with their own security departments. It's interesting. We've got a story up on usatoday.com this morning from Josh Peter, and it's the Dateline is San Diego. So he went down there just to kind of do some digging and some following up on a trail. And one of the things that he said in the story was that the rumors about the punter existed like shortly after it happened, right? So this was no secret to people, some of the students anyway, on campus, and definitely wasn't a secret.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Look like it froze up there for a moment. Jarrett.
Gotta love technology,
Yeah, technology is something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Jarrett will be back with us shortly, but he's absolutely right. Sound like people on campus all knew about the situation.
Right, man, that's so crazy. Like, to me, a lot of things on these campuses that happen, that is something that. All right, Nala wants to say, all right, yeah, but we hear it on plenty of time that on these college campuses, when things are going crazy, people know about it. So to come, and this is why people don't believe in the NFL and what they have talk about in terms of security and what they're vetting, because that's crazy. People know about it, and the Bills act like they had no idea or they weren't aware until July 20th or so. It's just crazy. Rabin, just what's your thought? I know you asked a question to the legendary Jarrett Bell, but from you're tied into the NFL. What is it? When is the NFL going to finally get this right about actually doing some real digging in these teams, or is it really it's just all a facade? What's your thoughts? Because everybody seemed to know, and the Bills acting like they didn't know. What's your thoughts? It's crazy to me.
I think it was one of those deals where they knew something, but they said, hey, is it bad enough? Or is it out there? No, it's a sealed document right now, sealed situation. And they went ahead and kept the guy. Because the bottom line is they didn't want Matt Haack. They didn't want Matt Haack to be the punter. But they just rolled the dice. And I think they said, hey, hopefully this guy will be okay. That situation in Cal, because that's what we're hearing from everybody. What Jarrett Bell was just saying, that this it was known. People, you go out there and people say, oh, people at the gas station. Oh, you talking about those players that were involved in that gang rape out there? Blah blah blah. People seem to be common knowledge with anybody and everybody out there. It wasn't a big secret, so it wasn't hard for you just out there go on campus and ask for the report on the player, see if anything came up on the player. At the time, if anything came up on the player, I mean, that's what most teams do. And think about it. This guy was one of the top punters in college, but he didn't go into the 6th round. 2 other punters went in the 4th round, and he went in the 6th round. So that tells you those other 2 teams that drafted punters probably knew something, because this guy was rated the top punter. And we have Jarrett Bell back with us. Jarrett, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show.
Yeah, sorry that my internet froze up, so now we're going to go iPhone. So let's make sure the iPhone stays up. But, just to follow up on that point, Brandon Beane, the Bills GM, said it in the press conference last weekend. He said, he talked to double-digit teams to see if they had anything on him, on the punter, in the pre-draft vetting process. And he said that all of them came back and told him no. But to your point, George, 2 other punters were selected, and one of the draft storylines, a small storyline in the grand scheme, but was the fact that the top-rated punter was sliding down the board, and that is probably why. I reached out to a couple teams last week and was also told that they did not know, but they may not have been in the market for a punter. So if you were in the market for a punter, then you're going to do your digging. And, I know Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk had a post last week saying that he knew from 2 teams that they had indeed heard something about what was going on. So, the Bills do not get a pass on this. And, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, they have done a wonderful job in building this team into a contender. But they talk a whole lot about culture, right?
Right.
We're going to build this culture, and this definitely flies into the face of that.
Yeah, it seemed to me like they just wanted to win so bad. Say, hey, and he didn't cost a whole lot because he's a rookie, so you don't have to pay a veteran contract. So he kind of fit into the budget, and he was pretty good. And I think they just rolled the dice and hoped that nothing would come up. But I thought it was ironic that as soon as they cut Hawk on Monday and named him the punter, basically by cutting his competition, next thing you know, Tuesday, the woman files a civil law. That's when you say, oh, this guy's gonna have some money now. Okay, boom, let's go. And filed the civil lawsuit the next day. I don't think that was by accident either. I think they were just waiting to see what was going on with his situation.
Yeah, that's interesting, and there could be some elements to that. And I don't know. This is just me, responding and speculating. But I would think that the fact that the woman and her attorneys have been working on this for a while. Maybe the timing of the lawsuit did have something to do with, when the cut down came for the other punter and when it looked like he would be the guy. So yeah, that's definitely plausible, but it would have come down at some point. And we know that because they had put too much work into it. And, I know it's been characterized by the ex-punters side that it was just a money grab. I think it's deeper than that. It may be part of it is a money grab, but if what happened and what was alleged to have happened in this case, I think you want some justice. You want some heads to roll, and you want someone to really do some time behind all this. The fact that this case is still open when it comes to the district attorney's office there, it took months and months for the police to turn it over to the DA. I think you can point some fingers in that direction as well with the authorities in terms of how they handled it. So, yeah, messy, ugly. But back to your point, the NFL has, we've seen it for so long how the pre-draft vetting is so detailed that they find out stuff. So
right. Yeah. Right, they find out and ask all kinds of questions of these players. Yeah, we know we've seen that for years. Sensitive, unsensitive questions of players throughout the year. So come on now, come on. It just didn't all of a sudden fall apart in this situation. And speaking of justice, what about the Brian Flores situation there? He's currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How can they come down on the owner of the Dolphins, but then turn around and say in the whole thing? It kind of got lost on it too. That, oh, well, he did say that about, but he was just joking. He was just joking. And Brian Flores responded with an email to the team stating that, hey, I didn't like how the owner said he wanted me to do that. He wanted me to lose games and so forth. Well,
yeah. And that's a crazy defense. And for the NFL to buy it is asinine on another level. Because let me tell you what, George, you go through an airport and joke about having some kind of explosives or hijacking a plane and see what happens to you. Okay. And so that's kind of how, I compare it to, because you're talking about somebody joking about it, supposedly, who has the power to do something. See, some people can joke about something and they have no skin in the game, or they have no power to affect anything. They're just speaking off the cuff. But here's a guy who owns the team who could pay off, the whatever the amount was in order for them to lose some games. And so the thing that really kind of struck me when the Stephen Ross penalty came down for the tampering, the Tom Brady, the Sean Payton situation, I think what it did for me was it validated everything that Brian Flores was saying in the first place, right? Right. And so his credibility went up. Now, for the NFL to kind of, parse it out and say, well, he was correct on this, and we'll punish the owner for that. But no, we're not gonna acknowledge that this other thing happened. I think that's wrong. Now, we'll see where this case goes, because as it stands right now, it's in the judge's hand to determine whether or not this will be settled via arbitration, which the NFL is arguing for and the NFL wants, because if it goes that route, it's not in public court. It's not in a situation where you can have discovery like you would in a normal court case, and Roger Goodell gets to hear the appeal. So Roger Goodell is at the center of it. I think Roger Goodell has done a really good job, or a decent job, in terms of trying to really promote diversity. I know that you look at some of the hires in the NFL headquarters, and he has been proactive there. And I think he's, been behind the policies that the NFL has, going back to the Rooney Rule and everything else. But still in all, when something comes up and there is an opportunity to really reinforce your policies, that's where Roger Goodell has been woefully weak, right?
Yes.
Ever since they've had the Rooney Rule, only one person has ever been disciplined under the Rooney Rule, and that wasn't with Roger Goodell. That was Paul Tagliabue on Matt Millen. And Matt Millen tried to explain it. He says, hey, I had a guy, I think it was Tim Lewis, who was an assistant with the Steelers at the time, and Tim Lewis knew going into that Detroit interview that he backed out of, that the job was going to go to Steve Mariucci. So he says, I don't want any part of this. Well, that's how Matt Millen got tripped up in the Rooney Rule. So you're telling me nobody else with any of these other 32 teams in 20 years has ever had a scenario like that? And yeah, I got a bridge to sell you. So
absolutely, Jarrett. And one point I wanted you to get into before we run out of time is for this coming season. Now we got into behind the scenes of the NFL. On the field now, who are your teams this year? Who are you looking at as making it to Super Bowl 57?
Well, you know how it is, George. Every year you go into this thing, and there's 5 or 6 teams that are going to be good, and they'll be contenders, and we'll see how injuries go and things like that. And then we know there's 4, 5, 6 teams that are really bad, and then in the middle you got like 20 teams where it can go either way. But to answer your point, I think we know Buffalo is one of those top teams that, is positioned to really go over that hump this year. But I also say, look out for Baltimore. Now, Baltimore didn't make it last year, make it to the playoffs last year. And they had, everybody has injuries. I mean, so that is a factor. But last year, when you look at what happened to the Ravens compared to the year before, where the entire backfield was wiped out by injuries, and on the back end, they were wiped out by injuries. Well, assuming they can stay healthy, I think the Ravens will be a dangerous team, come playoff time, and maybe can go all the way. Now, remember when they played at Buffalo in the playoffs a couple years ago, and the Bills handed it to them. But I mean, it was a close game that could have gone either way early, and then Buffalo put them away, and Lamar didn't. Lamar ended up getting knocked out of that game. He threw a pick in the red zone, things like that. But all that to say, I think Buffalo, Baltimore, and then the usual suspects, Kansas City, even without Tyreek Hill, they will still be in the mix. Everybody's loving on the Chargers. Yeah. Can they get over the hump? I don't know about that. And then Cincinnati, I'm still of the opinion that when you lose a Super Bowl and you come back the next year, history has not been good to you. Even though you've got the dynamic playmakers that they have, and obviously they've got a lot more confidence, given what happened with them last year. But I'm still looking at Buffalo and Baltimore out of the AFC. And on the other side, I'm still not ready to count out Tom Brady, but it's going to be interesting, right? So maybe this is Aaron Rodgers' year finally with Green Bay to get over the hump. And one more point, when we talk about looking ahead, I think Philadelphia and not the Dallas Cowboys is the team to beat in the NFC East. They've got to do it. They've got to prove it. But yeah, I like what Philly did last year. Jalen Hurts going into his second year. We expect him to take a step. They got a running game. They got some decent playmakers on defense. They added A.J. Brown, a great receiver. So I think Philadelphia will give Dallas all they can handle in the NFC East. And, the Cowboys didn't lose a single game in the division last year. I think that's going to change for them.
Oh, it's got to change. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Eagles are definitely coming up. Obviously, the Giants took a step back. They're trying to rebuild over there as well. They're looking ugly right now. But those are some good picks coming up. And who's the 2 teams you see in the Super Bowl?
I'll say Baltimore and Green Bay. Yeah, okay. And then I'll give you a Tampa Bay maybe, because I still like Tom Brady like so many. So we'll see if he can get it done with his offensive line all messed up. But I think Tampa Bay will still be in the hunt. And obviously the Rams,
Yeah.
having won it last year, they will be back in the mix too. But I'm looking at Baltimore as my sexy my sexy Super Bowl pick right now.
Exactly. And A1, thank you for coming on the show. And already Aaron Donald done took the helmet off of the Bengals and bashed them with their own helmet. So they still dazed from not only the Super Bowl, but from practicing together last week, a couple weeks ago, man. That was unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
who would put the two Super Bowl teams together in a so-called controlled scrimmage?
You know what? I said the same thing. A lot of times they do these joint practices because they got a preseason game, so on and so forth. The two coaches, Zach Taylor for the Bengals, connected to Sean McVay. So, they've got some collaboration there. But to your point, if I'm the Bengals, I'm not trying to practice against this team and not get a couple licks in. So,
right. And that's what happened too.
Yeah.
Well, a few licks got in there and got exchanged in that one. They had the Hawk practice and everything. Well, yeah. Jarrett Bell, I look forward to having you back on Real Deal Sports Show once again. Hopefully later in the season, midway through the season. The award winner, congratulations on the Bill Nunn Jr. Award that you received. You received at the Hall of Fame. Well deserving of you. Long overdue for all the great writing you do in the USA Today, covering the NFL. It's great having you on the show. We look forward to having you back real soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mr. Bell, hey, thanks for being here. I've been reading your articles for the last 15, 20 years. You inspired me, so thank you. Appreciate you, Mr. Bell.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. That was Jarrett Bell from USA Today. You can pick him up locally in Rochester. It's part of the Democrat and Chronicle newspaper. His sports column is in there usually on Sundays and usually in the middle of the week. Check out Jarrett Bell's column. Check it online or pick up the hard copy like I do. I get it delivered to my door each day. Check out Jarrett Bell. That guy knows football. He's been around a long time. He knows what's going on in the National Football League. And Fanatic. And in closing, we still got free Brittany Griner. We still got that. That situation still going on.
Yep. Yeah. So that's definitely something we got to keep our eyes on and continue to hope and hopefully they can get her back and get her back safe to stateside. I know we're finishing things up here. WNBA playoffs, big going on right now. I think the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces are on a collision course to meet in the WNBA finals. But they are in tough battles right now in their current playoffs. It's tied 1-1 with the pivotal Game 3 coming up tomorrow on Sunday in those areas. And then, hey, we got a little sports of all sorts. Andy Ruiz, King Kong, and Ortiz is fighting on Sunday in a beautiful boxing match. So that should be interesting. If you got some time, folks, on Sunday, checking that out. But most importantly, Sunday at 7:30, those LSU Tigers, we're going to be taking the field as we talked about earlier. Look out for Jalen Daniels, should be the starting quarterback. Brian Kelly's been mum about that. It should be Jalen Daniels. He's coming from Herm Edwards in Arizona State. So a polished young man, really doing well in school and on the field. I think he'll be a great one. Him and Butte, look for them to establish a connection early. Hasn't really been there so far, but it's go time now. So it should be something interesting for the LSU Tigers as they take on the Florida State Seminoles in the kickoff matchup in the Superdome on Sunday evening at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 in the Central.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. And on a sad note, Jason Jenkins, also dedicate today's show to Miami Dolphins Senior Vice President Jason Jenkins, dies at the age of 47. He leaves a wife and 3 children behind. And we always met Jason Jenkins. He always said hello to us in the press box or in the media lounge down there in Miami, or whenever they come up to Buffalo to play the Bills, which, of course, they play Buffalo twice a year. We would always see that smile. And Jason Jenkins, very nice man, very humble man. Always would, whenever we're in Miami, if we needed anything, he would take care of it for us there in the Miami Dolphins press box. So I was shocked to hear that Jason Jenkins is gone at the very young age of 47 years old. And our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, his wife, and his 3 children that he leaves behind. Great man, handled a lot of business down there in Miami for the Miami Dolphins organization. And also the Buffalo 10. We always dedicate the show to you. The Buffalo 10, you will never be forgotten. You're always a part of Real Deal Sports Show. Buffalo 10, always with us. And Fanatic, there's always a lot going on. We didn't even get into John Gruden running his mouth. We didn't even, that guy, that's ridiculous.
He goes to church. He goes to church, Rad, man. He's a good person because I go to church. What in the world? People are crazy, man. They say the darndest things, man.
Yeah, now you're gonna try to hide behind Jesus. Come on, man. We don't need to
pimping Jesus. That's not it.
No. Don't start pimping Jesus now, John Gruden. Come on, man. You joining some of these evangelistic people out here tripping right now with all this stuff they got going on. Yeah. Unbelievable. But John Gruden, that's you're the worst, man. This go somewhere. We don't need to even be bothered with you any longer. And Backspin, I know it's time for Backspin to roll in, and almost time for him to take over and do his thing, do his magic. But Harold Varner is going to the LIV. The LIV is really getting more legs now, man. They're getting more and more every week. Seems like somebody else is joining. Now you got the brother Harold Varner joining there.
Yeah. That's a big one. And so for at least with the PGA Tour, they always talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Harold Varner, Tony Finau, probably the two top men of color on the tour. And now Harold Varner is leaving PGA and going to Live. And Live, the only thing that Live is missing is we got to be able to watch them. It's buffoonery that we can't really watch them. So they need to get a TV deal, a digital platform deal to really be consistent where we know where to find them. Because the PGA, they are in some trouble. Live Tour is here, and they got the money. They got the long money. Even Russell Wilson, he got paid. Liv is on another level than even Russell Wilson and his guaranteed money. So Harold Varner going, that's a big thing. I'll make sure to always say, hey, like, comment, subscribe to us on YouTube. Appreciate the comments today. YouTube at Real Deal Sports. Hit the bell icon to receive all the notifications. That's right there for you. And then, of course, as always, we do it here on Facebook. Subscribe, follow, and like the show's Facebook page, Real Deal Sports Show. Check us out, sports of all sorts.
Absolutely. And last but not least, my prediction for the Bills game, I see Buffalo winning this game 31-27. 31-27. I think this is going to be a close game. I think the scoring is going to get going in the second half of that game. Guys are going to be tired. They're playing their first full game. It's almost like a preseason game that counts. That's why I call this one. Bills 31-27. I think they're a little bit more offense. The Bills, and I believe they're going to want this game a little more than the Rams. And Stafford, I expect him to throw a couple picks in this game as well.
Yeah, that's funny. Say it's similar. 27-24 Buffalo Bills. I think the field goal kicking is going to be a big piece. But, hey, most importantly, and I know we got the winner's edge coming up, but I'm going to give you a little tease. I'm taking the over in the second half points. Get on that early. Take the over in the second half points in the Bills-Rams game.
All right. And next week, the debut of the Winner's Edge. Next weekend's show, we got the Winner's Edge. So if you want to win some money, come check us out next Saturday morning because we're going to give you some winners and give you our drop dead lock of the week where you guaranteed winner of some money. If you listen,
I'm gonna be taking my notes.
That's right.
We got you back.
Hey. Because I can use a couple extra dollars in my pocket every week,
You dig that?
Yes, indeed, Backspin. Time for you to take over and do your thing. A holiday weekend. I know you're Urban Euphoria for the anniversary. You're going to be DJing down. You're going to be doing your thing down there, right?
Yeah, I'll be down there tonight. Me and DJ Sean Touch. Shout out to E. Doc Carter, Michael Flanagan, and Team Invasion. They putting on a champagne and cigar fair tonight. So, we're going to be at Urban Euphoria celebrating with them and their anniversary. And it's a couple of birthdays we celebrating as well. So it's going to be a good night. It's a good day for it. It's going to be a good night,
Absolutely. And last but not least, anybody in the area, I know my neighbor down the street is going to the game next week in LA. If you go out there, stop by Doolin's Soul Food Restaurant. Man, those sisters can burn up in that spot, man. They get down, man, that smothered pork chop with the rice, gravy, and yams. Oh, man, who you telling? Woo, man, they throw down up in there. Doolin's. So if you're going out there, or Woody's Barbecue, right there, not far, about 5-10 minutes from the stadium, right in Inglewood. The stadium's in Inglewood. And these restaurants are right on the main drag of Market Street, which is similar to our Jefferson Avenue here in Rochester and Buffalo, New York area. So check out those spots. Check out the article at Taste of Inglewood. Got some other details for you. And check out that article in this week's Challenger Community News. Baxman, Fanatic, thank you for we doing your thing. We look forward to getting back next week, Baxman, and continue and get ready to do your thing.
Yes, sir. No doubt. Fanatic, the Rad Man, right here on the Beat 105.5 with the Real Deal Sports Show. Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And y'all keep it locked right where you got it, because the Bag of Time Mix Show is on deck. The Beat.